Welcome to another episode of the Camper Report. I'm your host, Benjamin Camperman. It's been a week and a half since I've streamed, so it's been a little while, but we're back, going strong. How are you doing tonight, Keltz? Today we have Keltz Chronicles. Go subscribe to him on YouTube and Twitter. Links in the description. Really cool 49ers content creator. So, how are you doing tonight? Excited to chop up 49ers with you. There is a lot to talk about. So, yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking. Yeah, man, just another blessed day. Cool to be coming to chop it up with you once again. It's been a while. So yeah, man, I'm excited. A good Saturday night. Just got done with the one of my niece's birthday parties. So she just actually two
Oh,
nieces
nice.
are around the same day. So one turned 4, one turned 2. There was a lot of princess stuff going on. Yeah, man, Elsa and Moana, and so yeah, man, it was a good time with the family. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there is a lot to talk about in general in the NFL here. We're mostly be talking about, but maybe if there's some comments in here talking about other things, we'll cover them as well. There's going to be a lot of games tomorrow and I'm just glad that like this last week, I had an easier week in school. So I'm not really too behind that I have to get up on in the weekend. So I'm going to be watching football tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun, but let's get right into it. The 49ers, well, actually, let's get to some of the comments because there are some people, uh, there are some people that are already in here. So Packers can be tough. That's what Bryant Culp said. The title of the show was Are the 49ers Overlooking the Potential Packers Matchup? Um, Grandizer, hey Ben and Kelts, hope the Lions win versus Packers and the Seahawks lose to the Rams. I think that that is how the Lions get that last seed. I kind of agree. I tend to agree with you there. My big thing is the storyline with Jared Goff. I mean, he's frowned upon when he was at the Rams organization, and now he's bringing the Lions to a playoffs. I mean, and he's playing really well the last 8 games. So what a storyline. Um,
Y Yeah,
what a storyline.
absolutely, man. How ironic is that? Stafford's season could be who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen with his, future, and it looks like, hey, every other game, Goff is over there putting up 35 plus, so, um yeah,
Yeah.
man, props to them. That was my prediction a few weeks back. I was like, "Hey, man, I have a feeling the Lions are gonna make it, but they do have the toughest road to get in, when
Yeah.
so we'll see how it pans out." But personally, for me, man, I would love to who knows who's the best team, but I would love to face the best team, whoever that's gonna wind up
Yeah.
being, and
I
yeah, man.
I feel like matchup wise, the Lions could exploit us the most and give us the most run because their offense is really good. And you put that, and considering the 49ers defense hasn't been that great, you put that high scoring offense up against the defense that has some questions. I don't know. That could be a really tough battle. But I mean, the Packers are going to be a tough battle as well. So we'll get into that in just a second. And the interesting thing is I was starting to wonder now that the Rams, before we get into it, but now that the Rams are kind of, I don't know, this is just a thought, but now that the Rams are, not doing too well, they won a Super Bowl last year, but is Sean McVay really a that good coach? Because I mean, Jared Goff was never really that good. Well, he was always like subpar when Sean McVay when he was on the Rams. Then he goes to the Lions, really as a breakthrough in his first season, so he's still learning the playbook a little bit. And you have Sean McVay, who, yeah, he went to the Super Bowl and won it, but then the very next year can't seem to do anything. So I'm really starting to wonder if Sean McVay really is a that good coach. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all, I really don't know too much what to say about it, but I
Yeah.
know I'm enjoying, the meltdown by the Rams, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Hey, We're there. We're there. They ain't. Just you got to set yourself up for longevity. But
Yeah.
they went about their business the way they went about it, and hey, they won the Super Bowl. So I'm sure they're not too worried about it. No matter what, McVay can always say, "Hey, I took the shot. I got it done. Say what you want." So but the NFL is wild at the same time. There's no fact that the Rams can't bounce back next year, regardless of what it looks like on paper
Right.
or draft picks, or it happens every year. So we'll see. We will see. I just know I'm juiced that we are in it,
Yeah.
and primed for a Super Bowl run.
Yes, very true there. Um, the Camper Report, we own the night. I don't actually. Oh, yeah. That's could be like a catchphrase for me or like a motto or whatever. I think that's what he's meaning. Um,
What up,
good evening.
Grandizer?
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, No Border Sport. Well, No Border Sports says good evening, gentlemen.
What up,
Good
Brian?
evening to you too. Bryant Culp as well. What up, faithful?
Yee.
Anyways, let's get to some of the topics here. The first one is we'll get to the main topic of the show, but I like to kind of like tease that topic for a little while and then bring it on. So let's get to another topic. And this is kind of going to be a show where kind of talking about are these games, these next few games going to be overlooked? Hold on. So,
Bless you.
this first game, yeah, thank you. This first game against the Cardinals. Well, the first game we're going to get to against the Cardinals is really it's an important game because if we win it, we're second seed. If we lose it, we're most likely third seed. Unless the Vikings lose to the Bears as well. So, my question to you is this game against the Cardinals being overlooked because a lot of people think that we're just going to automatically win this game. We're second seed. We're looking at playing the Packers. We're looking ahead to the next week in the playoffs. And my thing is real quick before you take the reins here. My thing is JJ Watt, this is his last game. So he's going to be playing for something. Um, the 49ers defense is vulnerable. And I just think that there's a lot of players that are going to be playing upset on this Cardinals, wanting to play upset on this Cardinals team. Um, like the 49ers did to, I think the Cardinals team a few years ago, they were going to make the playoffs. And then I'm pretty sure CJ Beathard and the 49ers beat them, knocked them out of the playoffs. I'm pretty sure that happened like 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm just saying they have something to play for and they have bragging rights. So what do you think? Is this game against the Cardinals being overlooked?
Now, I think Shanahan got these guys primed and ready.
It's
I
true.
think we've been in playoff mode, the whole 9-game win streak, and on top of that, I feel like the Raiders probably woke us up a little bit. I feel like the way
True.
the Raiders probably put us back on our toes. You hear the questions in the press room. Hey, what's up with Hufunga? Hey, what's up with the defense? Yada yada yada. So I feel like everybody's locked in. Nothing's gonna change, even if we do try to rest some people. I feel like the next guy that comes up, they're gonna come with that, with the intensity to win every single snap. I don't think there's, and like I said, it reminds me of like Bosa said, "Hey, maybe we lightweight overlooked Stidham." So I think that was a good thing. I think that was a good
Right.
thing that you cannot overlook any opponent. You cannot overlook any snap. You just got to just stay locked in, stay focused, be in the moment. Don't look too far ahead. Don't look too far back. Today has enough worries of its own. So I feel like
Yeah.
they have that mentality. Hey, man, we got a gang of professionals in the room. When you look at guys like Bosa, CMC, Ayuk, Fred Warner, I mean, the list could go on and on and on and on. These guys know what's at stake, and
Right.
they haven't taken the gas off. Maybe they lightweight did overlook Stidham, but hey, we still came out with the victory. I think
True.
Me personally, I just think it was a great game for not just Brock Purdy, but the entire 49ers to have that kind of a game, versus the Raiders just facing that kind of, adversity, and we haven't been in that kind of a situation. Even the, Seattle Seahawks game, it looked close on paper, but, we lightweight blowed that or blew them out as well, so, yeah, I don't think there's, fans might be overlooking it. We're all bringing our predictions to the table, and a lot of the predictions are somewhere within the 30s, and them scoring 10 or 13 and less and whatnot. So maybe fans could be
Mhm.
doing that, but yeah, man, yeah, the 49ers are definitely not going to overlook this. Even if, like I said, even if they do rest some people, they're still going to be going full throttle.
I I agree. I mean, even though I said all of those things, this is McVay's, well, it's probably not McVay, Kingsbury's last game. And I don't know that like the Cardinals have been a team where they've always been like they've been good for like a few years, or like they were good like a few years, but they've just been a team that have always fallen short under this coach. I think they do that again. They'll always either make the playoffs the first round and lose the first round, or they're just I'm not a big fan of that coach. I've never have been a big fan of that coach, and definitely going to be out of this team. But not only that, but also the fact that you look at how many times they threw it with their quarterback David Blau, 40 times, 24 for 40 last game against the Falcons. Just, I mean, I watched that game. Doesn't have a ton of talent. On top of that, I don't think you can check this though. Do they have DeAndre Hopkins for this game? I'm not really sure. And if I were him, I wouldn't play this game because you're playing for nothing. So
Yeah,
save your body.
I'm pretty sure he's not playing, and I made a joke because, the last time we faced him, there was the thing between Mooney Ward and him, and I believe Mooney called him steroid boy. So I was like, "Dang
Yeah.
it, man. We do not get to see Mooney versus steroid boy. It kind of sucks."
Yeah.
I love to see those battles, especially wide receiver and cornerback. Me personally, I was a wide receiver when I played in high school, and I just love watching, it just, takes me back to watching Jerry Rice versus Deion Sanders, or, Randy Moss versus whoever was really good at that time. It's slipping my mind, but just whenever I get to see those, just really good matchups, I love to see it. I love to, a lot of people are like, "Oh, man, I wanna face this team because 'cause they'll make the road easier." I'm a little different. I like to go down the narrow road, and if I had it my way, I would want the 49ers to face the Bills, the Chiefs,
Hmm.
the Bengals. I know they're all in the AFC, but I would love to watch our team
Yeah.
face all the best teams, the Eagles, and to where it left no question, no
Yeah.
excuses, like dang, the Niners, ran through all of that. Like they are the true champions. I hate when excuses or the refs get brought into it and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, Hopkins isn't going to be there. I believe Buda Baker probably isn't either. Like you were talking about earlier, JJ Watt, what a tremendous career. And
Yeah.
from what I've heard from the outside looking in, it looks like he's just a great man. He's done a tremendous job within the community, and through all the stuff that he does, through his charities and whatnot. So tremendous career. Privileged to be able to have witnessed, majority, or I'm pretty sure his whole career. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't completely locked into everything he was always doing. But he used to be on the Texans, and hey, man, I'm trying to think how many, defensive
He,
players of the year he
I
won,
think he
but
was like 3, I
yeah,
believe.
hey, man, he's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer,
He was the
so, I
most
mean,
versatile defensive lineman because he could line up inside, outside. He could do basically it all. My question to you though, wait, did I cut you off? I think I didn't hear you the last part. Are
you
you're good?
you're
Okay.
hey, man, hey, we're just chopping it up here, man. It's all
That's
good.
my bad. But I was gonna say I want to ask you one more thing. Do you think Brandon Ayuk gets over 1,000 yards in this game because he's at 956? I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I think they are going to feed him. I think they are going to make it a purpose to make sure he gets over that. I hope they do, and why wouldn't you? He's one of our when I look at Ayuk and I just look at the way he runs routes and just it feels like he's growing in every way, physically,
Yeah.
mentally, the toughness. It just feels like he's just grown tremendously. And so why would you not feed him? It reminds me of Purdy, one of his first games. He said, "Hey, I messed up on a few things. Hey, I'm gonna feed you." So I hope they do. Ayuk has quietly had one of the best year, or he's quietly had a career year, his best year, in receptions, touchdowns, yards. So, hey, props to Ayuk. Real talk. Eat. Just keep getting it, my man. Keep getting it. Keep getting it. Keep the
Yeah.
man. I just could see the routes in my head. The little circle. Just his route running is phenomenal. I can't wait to see what it looks like when he has consistent good to great quarterback play. I can't wait to see what his true potential looks like because I think on paper, it just feels like he has the talent to match up with some of the best in the league, and it'd be great to see what his full potential winds up being. And I think he's going to continue to grow. I think this is just the beginning for AU. That's just my opinion, and
Yeah.
we're going to find out.
I I I love Ayuk. Like when he got drafted by the Niners, he was like I was considering buying a jersey. The only thing with that though is I'm not really sure if he's going to be a Niner for very much longer. So it's like why buy a jersey when he's maybe not even going to be on the team in a few years. So it's like I don't know, but like yeah, I completely agree. And today I saw something ranking the best route runners in the NFL and obviously he wasn't on it. But
Really?
no, he wasn't.
And
I think
that
it
and
was
that was
top
at a
10.
and that was top 10, and he wasn't in there.
No. And
That's
here's my
blasphemy.
thing. I mean,
Blasphemy.
I know, and that's why, like, this is where it goes back to, and I know this is like a completely different rabbit trail. We don't need to get into it. Well, I'll just quickly bring it up. And obviously it's something that's not on here, but I think this was interesting. Ayuk, if you look at, I mean, he's a great route runner, but it's the same thing with the Pro Bowl and everything else. You don't have a huge season. Like when you have a huge season, one year, like Deebo Samuel, you get the media attention. And once you get the media attention, you get to Pro Bowls and everything else. And once you get really known, you get put on every list and whatever. And he's just more of I think the reason why he wasn't on that list is he's just more of a underground, or as they say in music, like he's just more of an underground player that doesn't get as much attention. So it sucks though.
You know what? Well, when you really look at the statistics of the quarterback throughout the past few years for the San Francisco 49ers, it's not like, we've had a quarterback who's throwing 40 touchdowns. Or wait, hold on.
Exactly.
Let me rewind. We haven't even had a quarterback throw more than 30 touchdowns since I believe 2002 Jeff Garcia. So when you got a guy who's not throwing it, and that's almost, yeah, crazy to think like a San Francisco 49er quarterback has not thrown 30 touchdowns. It could be 2001, but still, for it to be that long in today's NFL,
Yeah.
for you to not throw 30 touchdowns, you're seeing every other team throw 4,000 yards, 30 plus, like it's nothing. Every
Yeah.
other. And so I think, when you got a guy like Jimmy who was limited in a box and majority of your passes are, whether it's screens to Deebo and Kittle, and you're not going to be blowing up the charts. And if you're not blowing the stats out of the water, you're not going to get recognition, regardless of how great you are. So, but for him to be under top 10 in route running, now that's
Yeah. I can send you the video.
that's a sh-
I'll look it
it's
up.
it's a shame. It's a shame, but like I said, man, with the consistent good quarterback play, hopefully he gets the recognition that
Yeah.
he's due.
I mean, and that's where like route well, where hold on. I'm trying to oh yeah, system fit. That's where system fit comes in as well, because if you're in a system, and I was arguing with my brother about this like a month ago, I was like, if you're in a system that is like you're fit for, you don't have to be putting up all these great numbers, but the system will work for you. Like you could have an like a mediocre player do so well in this system because it fits his strengths
Mhm.
that he doesn't need to be an all-star quarterback or receiver to be good in this system because it's just the system is built for him. So that's how it is with a lot of players, I think, on the 49ers. And that's why, like, the 49ers don't have, like, Omenihu is a great player, but he's not really known. So they have a lot of those players that are really good in the system, and they play just as well as any other all-star player, but they're not known. So, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was just thinking too. Deep ball me, please. I was just thinking of Ayuk. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
dog. He's a baller. I'm proud of his growth, man, for sure. But yeah, to go back to the original question, I think he's going to get over 1,000 yards, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Me too. But let's move on to the topic of the show. I'm excited. If the 49ers play the Packers, that will be a must-watch game. Every storyline, Aaron Rodgers, whatever, it's going to be a great game. But again, there has been a history between these two teams. We've blown them out every time it matters. I mean, they obviously beat us in the regular season, week 3 last year, but we beat them in Lambeau. Really low scoring game. Everyone remembers that. The miracle.
Mm.
My gosh, that was great. But anyways, if the 49ers play the Packers, is that game being overlooked because of these two teams' pasts? And why I say that is because we have beaten them when it matters most for the last 3 years. So, what is your thoughts on this? I mean, it's definitely a real question. I
Yeah,
think we all have to ask.
yeah. I think it's more the confidence in the fans. I think it's more about the fans more than
Right.
man, hey, these 49ers, man, they're on a mission. They want to win the Super Bowl. I just think about Deebo Samuel last year crying on the sideline. I think about 2019. And if we have, man, they are hungry. They want it. Kyle
Yeah.
wants it. The whole team wants it. There's a lot of key players still on this team that was there last year and 2019. And this team is on a mission. They have a path. They have a path in place, and they're coming to knock heads off. They are coming to knock heads off. They're coming to split wigs, and they're gonna come to take it. It don't matter whether it's the Packers, the Seahawks, the Lions. Now, I haven't really asked myself this, but I'm starting. I don't think there's going to be no overlooking whatsoever. Maybe from the fans, maybe from some of us who, things like that. Because I've already done it. I've already thought to
Yeah.
myself quite a few times, well, the Packers, we dominate them in the playoffs. We got this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of victim to that. But you can't. I know in that building they're not doing that. Like, not
Yeah.
at all. Um, yeah, man, so I don't see that happening, and I haven't asked myself the question, who would I want to see? Not just
To
a
see.
easy road or a hard road, but what would almost be, like, the best icing on the cake for the 49ers to start the playoffs, if we have it our way, I'm sure we would get the number 1 seed, and who knows, we might be facing the Eagles in the first round in the divisional round, because if we get the first
Right.
seed, the Eagles could slip down to 5.
I
We could
don't
be
yeah. I
it's
don't think that's happening though
it's not
because the
probable.
Giants are they're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
sit all
not
their
it's
starters,
not
so
probable, but so out of those 3 teams,
yeah.
The Lions, Seahawks, and Packers, just from my memories of being in the 90s, it was always like trying to get over the Cowboys, trying to get over the Packers. So I love to whoop on the Cowboys, the Packers. But the more I'm thinking about it, I would like to see the 49ers take out the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I would like to see the Seahawks come to our house and us stomp them out for a third time. That would be, and I know people say, like last year, oh, to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, it's so hard. But with these Seahawks, I don't see it.
No.
Last year, it feels like we shot ourselves in the foot versus the Rams when it came to I believe it was Jimmy Ward hit. There's a few things in that game. I look at the Tart drop. Jimmy couldn't move the ball on consecutive drives, even more than the Tart drop. Then you
Yeah.
had unnecessary roughness. You just had
Yes, I
things.
remember that in the last drive that moved the ball. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
to
yeah.
interrupt, but
So
I
it,
remember
it
that.
feels like we're not making those mistakes again. It feels like Greenlaw has cleaned that kind of stuff up. Even
Yeah,
Jimmy Ward has cleaned that. I feel like we're cleaning up those shoot yourself in the foot to lose the game type of things. It feels like we're playing super efficient. Um, Brock Purdy's got this offense humming. It feels like, man, I think we're scoring what 30 points a game with Brock Purdy, and I
yeah,
know a lot of it has to do with CMC as well, but let's give credit to all the guys. CMC, Brock Purdy, Ayuk, with this has been without Deebo, Kittle. Like, let's go, man. We had a hiccup versus the Raiders. But I think that was a good wake up call for the defense, and it proved that Brock Purdy could go on the road and overcome a 10-point deficit, in the third quarter. So yeah, man,
yeah.
no overlooking. Hey, if it's Aaron Rodgers, bring it on. I'm trying to think who because I'm starting to think about quarterback wide receiver matchups versus this 49er defense. I know we have Aaron Rodgers and then we got Christian
Christian
Watson.
Watson is I
Hey
talented. I
man.
mean, and the thing that's good with that, well, not good, but like for them, what's good that they're getting healthy at the right time, and their team is clicking at the right time. Their defense, that was a big concern. I mean, Jair Alexander is playing the best football of his life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like well, right now he is. And I mean, there was a lot of concerns midway through the season when they were going through that rough patch. You know, is Jair, and even when um when he got elected for the Pro Bowl over, a lot of people were saying like, or 49ers fans, I guess, not everybody, but was saying like Charvarius Ward should have been that starter over Alexander. And I mean, I feel like the last few games he's proved that he is a starting level, or at the Pro Bowl he's a starting level corner in the league, or a top 3 level corner in the league. So he's playing better. Christian Watson, and then you also have Romeo Dobbs. You have the running back duo with AJ Dillon and Chris Jones. So I think this team is not only getting better as it goes along, they're clicking. And you probably saw that story, and I don't know if you did, but where basically the Packers team has started to have like team meetings with the whole team, and it's really helped them or whatever. Did you see that story?
I didn't. And hey, you got to
It's
do things like that when you're not playing up to your capabilities. Someone, whoever organized that, good for them because man, if you have if I don't know, I just feel like if you got a player like Aaron Rodgers and other good players that they got, and you're not playing up to the level that you're supposed to, you better try something, whether it's meetings or so I did not hear about it, but hey, man,
yeah.
sometimes those kind of things, spark something. So
Well, and I think for Aaron Rodgers early in the year, it was a very different team, and you didn't always have Devonta Adams to throw to because they had built a connection. So when he gets traded,
mhm.
it's a different team, and you have different receivers. So now that he's building up that chemistry, it's a dangerous team. And I think there are a few things that are different this year with the Packers than it was last year. Last year, they had a bye week, and I think now that like more and more as the years go on, I'm starting to wonder that bye week for the first seed team is actually almost more of a help than a hurt, unless it's with injuries, obviously. But it can throw a lot of teams off if you have that bye week, if you're the first seed and you have that bye week. So
Mhm.
last year we were playing them off that bye week. This year, they're not getting a break. They can roll into the playoffs or the 49ers game with basically treating it like any other game because you're not having a bye week. It's it's the next week that they're playing each other. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure, though.
Yeah, man. I was also thinking of okay, so it's Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, because I feel like those are some of the most important connections when you
Yeah,
don't have a top level defense. I feel like when teams are dependent, when teams are lacking stuff on defense, I feel like they're just more like you just need to have that quarterback wide receiver duo to like kind of get you over the top. And then so we got Seattle, obviously, with Geno and Metcalf and Lockett, which, that's great and all, but, they weren't able to do too much. We locked them. It looked like we've matched up well with them the 2 times we've seen them. But I was gonna ask you who I haven't really looked it up too much, but the Detroit Lions are putting up all these points. Like who are do you know who the main like playmakers are?
But
As far as I know, there's Goff, and
well,
then I'm
well, you have
like,
Swift. You have Swift. You have
yeah, yeah,
Jamal
running
Williams, the
back.
ex Packers guy. They like to rely on him on the goal line. You have St. Brown. What's his
Okay,
first
that's who
name?
it is.
I don't
That's who it
even.
is.
Then
St.
you have
Brown.
Josh Reynolds, who actually used to be for the Rams. He's pretty good as well. And then there's one, oh, there's the rookie that they got. What's his name? There's a rookie that they got last year who's a receiver and who's really good as well. Um,
Mm,
got him in the first round. They got him ahead of the Packers late in the first round. His name is, I'll look him up right now for the
and then
Lions.
I'm still thinking like, why would they trade TJ Hawkinson inside the
Right.
division? I don't know. That was kinda I haven't looked at
I
the
don't know.
details of it or anything like that, but that was still
Yeah.
kinda odd to me. But,
Yeah.
just my point in bringing up, the wide receiver, quarterback combinations, it's almost lightweight looking like Rodgers.
Jamison Williams. Sorry. Jamison
Okay.
Williams.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, he have, like, an injury, and it kinda set
Yeah.
him back as far as where he was gonna get
Came back.
drafted,
Yeah.
but he was supposed to be, one of the first ones picked, but I think he dropped a little bit because of that injury, so but I do
Yeah.
remember the draft, and I do remember him for sure. Okay, so yeah, man. It feels like, Green Bay could be that biggest threat, man. You just never know with Aaron Rodgers. But I started having flashes, and when I say flashes, I just start having visions of playoff football in Levi Stadium. I wouldn't
Yeah.
doubt it if it's gonna be a little cloudy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be sun shining, but just a little cloudy, probably not storming or nothing, but man, Ben, I feel like I had good visions when I just had my visions, and it was good visions of us just
Yeah.
dominating whoever we play. And I can't freaking wait for the playoffs. So I'm juiced up about no matter who it is, man. Like I said earlier, we're coming to split wigs, man.
For sure. For sure. It's gonna be very exciting because in Kyle Shanahan's tenure, before we leave this, but in Kyle Shanahan's tenure, we have not had back to back. I don't think so. Playoff appearances because we had the Super
Oh yeah.
Bowl, then we had that down year,
Yep.
then we had last year, and then this year.
I was
So
I was just thinking about this today.
yeah, yeah,
Like, it's because I know I've brought it up. We bring it up when things are going horrible, right? Oh,
yeah,
Shanahan sucks again. Every other year he's barely over 500. Then when he's doing really well, you kind of don't hear about. Hey, but good point, man. This is our, back to back years. We
yeah.
have, and it just has the feeling like it's gonna stay this way. Like
Stay, yeah,
it's gonna continue. Hopefully we have a good 4 or 5 year, 20-year run. I know that might be lightweight or
well, and
extremely
yeah,
optimistic, but hey, you never know. This team, they literally, hey, props to Jed York for giving Shanahan and Lynch long extensions to be able to lay the foundation
yeah, that's
because
true.
look, they have had their fair share of misses. Yes, they missed on Solomon Thomas and didn't pick Patrick Mahomes. Yes, they gave Quan Alexander money. Yes, they jumped the gun on maybe giving Jimmy Garoppolo the bag. The list could go on and on and on about all the stuff they've messed up on. But each time they've messed up, they've rebounded, and they've rebounded in a major way to where when you take out all the noise, we have one of the best rosters in the NFL, and it's not like we have one of the best rosters in the NFL and oh my god, we're in trouble next year.
Yeah,
We're going to lose 5 of them. Hey man, they really did brick by brick this thing. And I've had a lot of harsh words toward Kyle. Whenever we're going through our slumps, of course I get fired up and I want to see better and all that, but
yeah,
Hey, man, I do want to give the props to Jed, and Jed gets a lot of crap talked about him. Oh my, I said it a lot of times. What would Eddie DeBartolo do? What are you doing, Jed? And so I just want to say, hey, props to Jed, props to John Lynch, maybe possibly getting the executive of the year, Kyle Shanahan as well. But I will say for Kyle, I still feel like he's got to win the big one. I still feel like it's all great, it's all phenomenal, back to back good seasons, and we're one of the best teams in the NFL this year. But it kind of doesn't matter if you don't get the big one. So it'd be really cool to see us get it this year. And I know this is looking
Yeah.
far down the road. The only one thing that sucks is if it didn't happen, well, we had Mr. Irrelevant. You know what I'm
That
saying?
is
So it's
true,
kind
that
of
is
like
true, there's a little bit of an excuse there,
it's
yeah.
not a fallback regardless. But I will say, hey, what a fun season to be a part of, man.
Yeah, it has been.
Hey, I don't think any one of us could have written it up this well, of a
No.
movie, and it's been awesome.
I agree. I mean, for one, just when Brock Purdy comes in there in that Miami game, and you're thinking this season might be over, it's looking like it's over, and then he goes on that touchdown drive, and you're like, oh wow, like it's far from over.
Yeah,
So like,
this kid's a baller, man. Hey, from the first touchdown, I instantly felt calm. Once I seen him get the first one,
yeah,
dude, I can't remember watching 49er football being this calm and just feeling like no matter what happens, I'm just like, we're gonna win. Like, and not even like I don't know how to really explain it. Like the composure that he exudes on the football field, I could literally feel that. It just feels like it's enjoyable. It's just enjoyable to watch. The way he maneuvers in the pocket, the way he reads the pocket. You don't see him making bonehead play after bonehead play, or what were you doing, or how did you not see him? It's just, oh dang, man, he just avoided that beautifully, even on his throwaways. I'm just like, yes, yes. Like,
yeah. There
it's
were some
exciting,
times
man.
where the commentator, or I think it wasn't. Was it Olsen that was commentating? No, it was, what's his name?
Sanchez.
Oh, man, Sanchez,
Oh
Sanchez.
God.
He was like, at one point, he was like, "Oh, yeah, that was a nice throwaway by Purdy. Good to see him. Like, don't turn that play into a disaster."
Yeah.
So, and that was our biggest problem with Jimmy, and even, I mean,
Yep.
a few times with Trey Lance in the very little sample size. Like, don't try to be
A
Patrick
hero.
Mahomes, Deshaun
Ah,
Watson all the time. Like,
especially especially with this defense, man, just live to fight another down.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
even on some of his throwaways, it's not even the decision, but if man, just going back watching the all 22, man, this kid's got some athleticism, but not just sometimes you could have athleticism and you could kind of maneuver and do what you want. You can see him
Looking
seeing
downfield still.
you can
Yeah.
see him seeing what's coming, and he's already thinking, okay, I'm about to pretend to do this so I could come back to this and then go do this. It's already like he has it. Sometimes you see guys with that athleticism, they kind of don't know what they're going to do. They just try to make something happen. He looks like he knows what he's going to do and utilizes that athleticism and then creates. It's like he just has it's next level anticipation, manipulation,
It's
and it's
poise.
freaking
It's poise.
yeah, it's poised, but it's all he's also manipulating things. He's
Yeah.
seeing it before it happens, and he's doing something to make that happen a different way to where he can go do. He's doing what he wants. Is kind of what I'm saying with the
Right.
pressure that comes at him. It's like instead of him reacting, he's almost making an action to make them react to where he. It's hard to explain, really, but
Yeah.
it's just
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome to see because it feels like when I would watch Jimmy, he was the opposite of that. It was like, oh my God, stand there, try to make as many reads I can. If I got to him, he desperately try to get out. Oh, it's a sack. Desperately try to get out. Let me just hurry up, try to throw it in there. Interception, and
Yeah.
you don't see the desperation from him. You see him diagnose it quickly, and then he has a plan and normally executes or lives to fight another down.
And I think it comes with being a 7th round pick a guy that was doubted upon or something like that. It comes with being a guy who isn't a first round pick, who isn't highly paid or whatever. It comes with being that because you know you have to play smart because you're a 7th round pick. I mean, you're not getting paid much. You're trying to get that second contract because I mean, it's not like you're going to be set for life because you're really only getting, I don't even know what it is for a 7th round pick, but not very much money. So,
Like 500,000 or something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
I mean, that's still a lot. I mean, I would love that. Just give
Oh
me it.
yeah,
But
oh yeah. Well, in California, depending on how his
oh,
housing
true, true.
depending on how his housing is set up, hopefully he's got a hookup. I know he roommates with who is it?
Oh,
Gutierrez
yeah.
with
Yeah.
Gutierrez, and then who's the Zakel. And so I thought that was hecka cool how they did the Christmas cards too. He's a man on a budget, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure those guys in there, they're like, hey, Brock, you just become one of the greatest stories in sports history and help us to a Super Bowl. And yeah, we're not tripping on the Christmas gifts. Your time will come, man. Your time will come to get the bag. But hey, to touch on the point you were talking about Purdy as far as the 7th round,
Yeah.
I think some guys, how do I explain it? I think there's just some guys who have it. You hear
Right.
people saying the word, that's him. When you say Himothy,
Yeah.
Himothy, or he's got the it
Yeah.
factor, he's got the X factor. There's something inside of a person, that just there's a fire. There's a certain, and it's not just the will and the desire and the fire to do something, but when that pressure is coming, like he's already, whether he just naturally has those instincts or he studied it so well. You know what I'm saying? It could be a mixture of both because
It comes down to work ethic.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
and and,
Yeah.
and we've heard I don't know if you've heard it, but I've heard several offensive linemen say, hey, they're invited him to come play poker and whatnot, and he's always declining. Like, nah, I need to go study every single time. I need to go study. I need to
Yeah.
go study. I'm like, I love that, man. I just it has like a Peter Parker type of a feel to it. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of that good dude. He needs to go study, kind of nerdy, and then he gets on the field and he turns into freaking Spider-Man or something like. So,
Yeah.
and he's got the look too. He's got the,
The
he's got
Spider-Man.
the
The
Clint,
Tom Holland look.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Superman, the
Yeah.
Clark Kent, the Peter Parker. He's got that kind of just, kind of look to him like, yeah, man, hopefully he's the real deal. I've heard
Yeah.
people say, hey, watch when people
Get tape
watch
on him.
yeah, watch when teams get tape. And
Yeah.
my thing is okay, you can have all the tape in the world, but the way he's manipulating the pocket, if he's able to continue to do that, it doesn't matter how much you game plan. He's always going to have that in his pocket. He's always going to
Right.
have that athleticism, sneaky athleticism. And if he's making good decisions, if I mean, this dude has proved to make good decisions in 5 games. I go back to Nick Mullins. You could see the shakiness. You could see yeah, he played with heart, he played with fire, but they were able to catch up to him because he didn't have that it factor. If
Well, and I also real quick, sorry to interrupt, but I
uh,
think it does come down to being athletic as well, and just like when you're not a mobile quarterback, then it's easier to get film on you because you're standing in the pocket all the time and you can't make off script plays.
you're
So,
in a
anyways,
little
go ahead.
you're in a little box. It's like
Yeah.
he's already proved he could go outside the numbers. He's already proved he could go deep over the middle. He's proved he could do all the little small stuff in front of him inside that box that Jimmy was trapped in. He's proved that he can avoid pressure. He's done it versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, he's done it versus almost each team where you just see him make kind of a wow. And, there's a little bit of reminiscence of the composure of Joe Montana. And then there's there are times where I'm like, man, that really does look like a mini Mahomes. Like that, some of the
Yeah.
ways he's manipulating, and it's just hella cool to see, man. It's like I said earlier, we couldn't have written this up. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's cool to be a 49er fan right now.
For sure. Couldn't agree more. But let's move on. Definitely a topic that you could spend hours on talking
Yeah,
about the stories, Yeah, I know what
The
you mean
legend,
there.
the legend of Brock Purdy. Like,
We should write a book. We should write a book
oh, they're
written by
coming.
Keltz Chronicles or Rich Keltz. Anyways, um, so let's get on to the next one, though. Should the 49ers play Deebo in the finale, or I should probably edit that in just a second, the season finale, um, and how much should they play him? Because this is one, I mean, he's coming off of an injury. They activated him, so he's going to obviously play or suit up or whatever. So he's going to play, but how much? And like, maybe they'll suit him up and not play him at all. Maybe, I mean, he's just, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Because this is a guy that, as we saw last year, if you want to lean on him, you could lean on him. So, what are your thoughts on this?
You play him as much as you need to. I feel
Yeah,
like, and when I say that, because all right, let's say we barely use him, and Lord forbid, we lose the game. It's always going to be like, oh my God, So there's a balancing act here. You don't want to use him, and he gets hurt, then it's like, oh my God, why did you use him so much? Let's say
right,
we don't use him that much, and we've been winning without Debo. So, but the point I'm trying to make is you don't really know exactly what to do. If I was in that building, if I was talking to him, if I was the coach, if I had a solid plan, and it's like I really don't know what the right answer is because there's always going to be, no, if it doesn't go well, there's always going to be a finger pointed on something you did or didn't do. But you can do it so many different ways, like I like to say sometimes there's so
right,
many layers to the game, and there's so many different flavors on how you could do it, why you could do it, what works. There's pros and cons to everything. Me personally,
right,
I want to see him get a good enough run to get back into game shape. So you don't have to maybe in the playoffs, I would hate to see him drop a ball or two, and he's had trouble
right.
with dropping balls. And in live game action, there's no replicating that in practice. So I would love to see him get, a decent amount of run just to knock the rust off, make sure he's primed for the playoffs. You wouldn't want to see him fumble a ball like we seen it the first game of the year. And that's a good example. It was the first game of the year, the first live action. He fumbles, when we're right there in the red zone.
I remember
Throughout the
that.
year, I've seen quite a few times he's dropping balls. Deebo is a phenomenal player, phenomenal heart, great dude, basically carried us the whole entire playoff run last year and getting into the playoffs on that 7-2 run. But to answer the question, I would love to see him play a good amount. And hey, this is football. If Lord forbid some freaking injury happened, man, it could happen on one play. It could happen on 50 plays. And I know
Right.
people like to say, well, the sports science says, the more you keep going, it's kind of reminds me of basketball. If you have X amount of minutes, you're more susceptible to getting yada yada yada. Hey man, he's not going to get 30 touches. Hey, target him 6, 7 times. Let him run it a few times. Don't run him up the middle. But then even then, I'm kind of like, hold on. Even if you run on the outside, you could still something can happen.
I know.
So
Like
I'm kind of
what they do with Ayuk. Like,
yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
kinda switching my philosophy on, but I don't know, it is when you do run up the middle, yeah, there is bigger men, and you are getting into traffic, and when you are on the outside, you have it at least an ability to run out of the end zone or whatever. But on that actual play where Debo got hurt, it did look like it was designed to run to the outside, and he cut it back inside, which when I rewatched the play
Right.
quite a few times, I was like, "Why did he do that?" Like, it didn't really make sense, but
Yeah.
of course, when you're playing football, you like to think, hey, when everything's flowing one way, when you get a cutback, you have a chance to take it all the way. So maybe he thought, he could break a tackle or two and then take it to the house. But to get back to your original question, hey man, give him a good amount of run, so we don't see any mistakes in the playoffs. That's the way I see
Yeah.
it.
I I I tend to agree with you there. I think you have to give him enough to where you keep him in shape, because we've seen Deebo Samuel, especially in the 2020 season. We saw him, I think it was against the Patriots, come back. It was like week 8. He came back from an injury that he had sustained like one of the first weeks. And then he came back and he injured it again the very first game. And like, we're all used to seeing Deebo Samuel being this guy who can just carry the team on his back like he did last year. And he's in game shape and he's not getting any injuries. And we're used to seeing that Deebo Samuel, the Deebo Samuel that we saw last year. We're used to that. But we have to realize, we have to look back a little bit farther and be like, oh, like before last year, he was this mortal player that did have to be conditioned to, like, he had to be conditioned, otherwise he would get injured. We've seen it before with him. So I think you have to play him enough to condition him for the next round of the playoffs, because you're going to need him. There are going to be times in games when you have to rely on somebody, you're down or whatever. You're going to need him to make a big play, and we know he can do it. Him, Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, whatever. But if you're Kyle Shanahan, I don't know how much of a workload you do, but I do want to see him get like a few catches, a few targets. But like you said, nothing running in the middle, because if he gets that same injury again, I mean, I almost thought he was out for the season with a torn ACL. So don't stop.
Hey, did you see the practice? Did you see the practice clip of Kyle Juszczyk?
That was annoying.
My bad. Hey, did you see the clip of Kyle Juszczyk handing it off to Brock Purdy in practice? Ben?
Oh yeah, I did, and him doing that.
I didn't know
thing.
if you. I didn't know if you froze or something. I was just like, "Are you still?" Yeah, the hurdle.
Okay. Yeah, my Wi-Fi was in and out for a second, so like, I don't know if you heard anything, but yeah, I did see that clip where, where he handed it off to him and he like hurdled.
Yeah.
Was it that?
Yeah. I was just having fun with it.
Yeah, I did see that.
I made a little short and I was having fun with it. Just like, for the love of God, Kyle, like, please do not do this.
Oh, so that was
like,
you who posted it, because I know somebody posted it.
Oh, you seen that? Yeah. I was just having fun, man. Sometimes some people don't get my kind of comedy on. Everybody. It's easy to read something and read it the way you want to hear it, but then sometimes I'll put certain things and I'll mean it a whole different way. Like when I put "for the love of God," I literally picture like Chris Farley. I don't know if you know who that is, but Chris Farley did movies back in the day with like Adam Sandler, and he was on Saturday Night Live. He did a Black Sheep and Tommy Boy, and just he's a comedian, but he would always scream, pretty frantically about, for the love of God, like, don't do certain things, and just hella loud and stuff. So, that's how I kind of meant it. But hey, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Brock Purdy getting handoffs, running up the middle, hurdling anybody. And if he did, I did have a great comment. Someone commented, I think it was on TikTok, that said, "Man, if this happens, like, this man really needs to go to prison. Like, Shanahan needs to go to prison if he runs Brock Purdy. Like, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo was different, but
Trey Lance,
you run Trey, you run Deebo, you're running and you're going hard, and your philosophy is damned if I do, damned if I don't, but I'm going to go full throttle and do it my way." If he really did do something like that, and I don't think he is, I think it was more.
It was just them goofing around at practice.
But I think I would not be surprised if we do see Kyle Juszczyk in some form of a 3rd and 1. Don't be surprised at some point in time if you see some trickery. We seen it last year versus Green Bay, where we seen all of a sudden big old silverback Trent Williams come in motion on a short yardage. I don't know if you remember that versus the Packers, but we see Trent Williams coming in motion to lead block. And then he also tried to do that versus Dallas on short distance. I think he put Trent in motion again, but we got penalized. But don't be surprised, faithful, if we see Kyle Juszczyk at quarterback on a 3rd and 1 and him hand it off to like Elijah Mitchell, or it be a a direct snap wildcat and he pitches it the maybe a option to
Yeah.
pitch to CMC. They try to do something lightweight like that versus not was it the Raiders? Maybe the game before the Raiders. They try to do some form of an option where Juszczyk was running out and try to pitch it. We came up short, but Shanahan will
Yeah, I
reach
know what you're talking about. Yep.
Shannon. I think maybe Juszczyk was getting reps because there is something that Shanahan's going to do minus Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that's a good I think if you're a coach in the playoffs, you have to get creative. You have to do something that nobody has heard of, and that's how you
It's
win Super
coming.
Bowls. Being risky, because we've shown that if we stick to our regular philosophy in the playoffs, that we can fall short sometimes. So maybe he is something else in the hat that he was thinking up over the offseason. Like, if we get in this
Oh, yeah.
situation, I'm going to do this differently. Or obviously every coach does that. So I definitely know what you're saying there. But let's get to a little bit of the comments. Our D line and secondary need to step it up in the playoffs. I completely agree. That was a long time ago, though. I apologize. We've just kind of been running through here, but Andrew Griniger, he's one of my friends. He says, "Was good." And then Niner Fanatic
Yee!
Podcast, Rise Up, fellas. Love
Faithful.
what he does.
Rise up. Yee!
Go subscribe to him.
What
And go
up, Peter?
subscribe to Keltz Chronicles. Link in the description. And then follow him on Twitter if you guys have it. Link in the description as well. CJ Brink is in here. Another one of my friends. What's up to you? And then we have another you old as hell, Keltz. I think
You understand?
he was responding to the actor that you mentioned.
Oh, Chris
So
Farley, Chris Farley. Yes, sir. Hey. And I took it literal, or I'm taking it literal. Like, man, how old is Hell? Like, yeah, I think Hell could have been around for. I don't know if I'm that old, man, but I hear you, Pete. I think you might be older, bro, but it's good. Much love, my man. Hey, hope
yeah.
you're having a great night. To everybody in the chat, I'm pretty sure Ben appreciates it, and I just want to say, I know this isn't my channel and my platform, but I appreciate you guys coming through. To
Yeah, for sure.
my man Ben, checking us out tonight, and I hope everybody's having a safe, vacation, holiday, and then this winter, and yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But let's move on a little bit. What do you think the top team? So this is kind of going away from the 49ers a little bit. And this is just something like I know you know about him because he was really famous coach for a while. And this is something that I wanted to throw in just because I think as the season is starting to come to a close, there's going to be there's probably owners right now. I mean, obviously we had the Jim Harbaugh thing. He's rumored to go to, the Broncos, the Panthers, whatever. So there's a lot of talk, a lot of talk going on around all these organizations now that the season is coming to a close for all of the teams that aren't playoff teams. So Sean Payton takes a break from football. I don't think is definitely not going back to the Saints. So where do you think the top team is for Sean Payton? What do you think the top team is for Sean Payton to go to
Um,
next year? I can't
just
read.
just my observation of Sean Payton, taking all the outside noise that surrounds him, with whatever went down there. Truly don't even know all the details of what went down, but I know it was, I don't even want to talk about it. So I'm not going to, but I'll just stick to it. Just feels like he's a Southern dude. It feels like he's a South type dude. That doesn't mean that you're going to go somewhere to the South, but maybe it does. Maybe he will go to. I'm trying to think of the teams down there. There's the Houston Texans. It feels like Lovie Smith um, is kind of like that rental kind of type of a coach. It feels like Lovie Smith. I honestly think D'Amico could wind up with the Texans being a former player and going from Lovie Smith to D'Amico. That's so I kind of don't know where Sean Payton could go, but I think I wouldn't doubt it if he goes somewhere in the South. I'm trying to think what there's the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sure. Who was their
Yeah,
coach?
Atlanta.
Something
I
not
don't. I think he's on the hot seat as well. I mean,
almost said Arthur Smith. I could be. I can't remember.
Yeah, it is Arthur Smith.
Yeah, so
Arthur
I
Smith.
wouldn't doubt it to see him somewhere in the South. I'm trying to think of all the other teams who are going to probably be looking for coaches. Like you said, the Carolina Panthers is sitting there, obviously looking for somebody. Trying to think, Kingsbury. Hey,
Chargers. Well, yeah, Cardinals is a big one
hey,
as
the
well.
Cardinals. Hey, the Cardinals. Hey, that who knows if someone wants to take on. I don't know all the details about Kyler Murray and his contract. I guess you would have to want to. I guess you would have to really like Kyler and whatnot and what's kind of going there. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure you could tear anything down. Just depending
Right.
on how it is. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'll just from even talking through what I just said, I'll say maybe the Falcons or Cardinals.
Yeah. I
I
do,
just
because if you're a guy if you're a coach looking for a new team, you want to establish quarterback, I feel like. And so the Cardinals is a good one. I used to think that the Broncos would be a really good one, but now that I'm looking at it more, I don't think that would be, because you're dealing with a quarterback who essentially has lost the locker room in Russell Wilson. I just don't like. I used to think, oh, that's probably his top candidate right now. I don't think so. I mean, there's just a $50 million quarterback. He's lost the locker room. I don't know. He's not the guy that you've chosen or picked to be your quarterback. And you could say the same about the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, like, oh, you didn't choose him to be your quarterback either. But I think you can do more with the Cardinals team just because there's less there's less to clean up there. I think the Cardinals, there are a few more bright spots on the Cardinals team than there are in the Broncos team. Um and the Chargers, they dodged, well, I'm glad that that they made the playoffs, because now that means for the Chargers that coach in Staley is going to probably keep his job, because they made the playoffs. And now you don't have to see Sean Payton with Justin Herbert. So, yeah.
hey, give me just 1 second, bro. My dog is about to start
Yeah,
barking at
yeah,
me.
for sure, for sure.
He's over here whining at me, and he's like kind
Yeah.
of he's kind of flinching, like, dude, I locked myself in the room. Please open the door. Just
Yeah, I
one
know what
sec.
you mean. I'll answer a few comments. Smash or pass that pick of Andrew. Okay. Yeah. Um, but for the record, smash, bro. I'm just kidding. Um, so Tommy Huxley in the building. Why would they overlook that game? That's stupid. He probably was responding to the chat. The what is it? Oh my gosh, the title of the show. Niner Fanatic podcast. We are getting better. You getting old. Okay. Okay. Um, Rylan, you coming to practice on Monday? Yes, I am. Um, especially after that ass whooping that we got. Our JV team and varsity team just got destroyed. Yesterday we played a basketball game. As you know, I play basketball, but that was terrible. So
What
yes, definitely
position?
coming to practice.
Point guard,
What?
shooting guard?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, shooting guard, point guard,
Cool,
around there.
cool.
It's both of those. We have a lot of ball handlers on our team, so mainly shooting guard. Like I'm not handling it a lot, but
Yeah,
um,
that's my son. He is same exact, and you're on JV?
yeah, yeah,
That's exactly like my son. He's point guard, mostly point guard, but yeah, he's at
yeah,
JV. Just worked his way up to being like one of the captains. So that's what's up, bro. I always appreciate just sports, man. No matter who's in it, why they're in it, it's always a good thing. It's always hella fun, hella cool,
it
especially
is.
especially when sometimes when you get your butt whipped. You
It
you
is.
you you get whooped on, and it's like you kind of
You have to
it
go
kind
back to the drawing board and be like,
yeah, man. It kind
"What
of
did I do?"
it upsets
Yeah,
you, but you
for sure.
gotta, especially if you love it, you get that fire reignited. Like, hold on a minute, like, nah, this is not the business. We need to fix this. Real talk. What up,
Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for. I just got a notification on my phone. Tommy Huxley has subscribed to the channel, so thank you very much for that.
Oh,
Um, I used to watch. Well, I don't think he calls into the cone phone much anymore, but used to watch him there. So,
Man,
um,
hey, he jams on his, guitar, man. I need to get back, man. I don't play any instruments, but I have learned how to play the ukulele. God, I always mess up when I say it, the ukulele, but my wife's
yeah,
Hawaiian and, all her family's from Hawaii, so they kinda got me into it, and it's one of
mhm,
the most therapeutic things to play an instrument. I almost don't think it matters what kinda instrument it is, but I do know when I play it, I don't think about, man, I don't know. I go into a different zone and it's hella cool. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Tommy can relate. And but he's much more skilled and better than I am with what he does on the guitar and stuff. So good stuff for
yeah,
coming through, my man.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. Last topic of the day, though, and this one is something that I think the whole 49ers world, or I mean, I at least was, and this was something interesting that I don't know. I wanted to bring this up just because I wanted to ask you this question.
Did someone
Stidham,
who said it? Who said it? Have you've heard this? Like,
well, I don't know. Well, I was just thinking it because I was like,
okay.
Stidham played really well. I mean, he played really well for a not that good Raiders team. And I was thinking it. And I'm like, this is kind of like one of those questions that I've heard on nobody's channels, like on nobody's channel, and I want to bring this up because it's like I want to be unique. So I was
Yeah.
like, and this is kind of an argument that you maybe could make after Stidham played really well on Sunday. So who's the better QB? Jared Stidham or Brock Purdy? A little bit of a background on Stidham. Played for the Patriots. I maybe started one game, but that last game was one of his first starts. Both quarterbacks are kind of new to the starting quarterback realm. So Purdy or Stidham, who have you got?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely
Obviously Purdy, but like, I don't know. Is there
yeah.
any argument here? Yeah.
No, it's hecka funny. I was like, "Where's he at? Who said it?" No, it's not. It's, hey, I actually like the question though. I do like it just because these guys are both really new. It's like regardless, the one thing about Purdy, man, he's doing things that lightweight has never been done. When you start getting in the conversation, it feels like every week. It's like, oh, only Brock Purdy and Dan Marino has done this. Only Brock Purdy and Kurt Warner have done this. Those two quarterbacks that he's being compared to are Hall of Famers. It's just tremendous what this kid has been able to do in 5 straight games. Or wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Is it like 6 yet? No, but it's just it's a very small sample size. But like I was saying earlier when I was gloating about Purdy, was it feels like what he's doing can be duplicated regardless of the scheme that comes against him.
Yeah.
Regardless of how, I mean, the teams have already shown we're gonna throw the house at him. He knew what to do and he did it. Okay, we're gonna play off of him. He knew what to do and he did it. It's like, of course you're gonna face a team at some point in time where they're gonna get you. They're gonna play better. They're going to it. I mean, it happened to Michael Jordan. It happened to Tom Brady. It happened to Joe Montana. There's gonna come times where he doesn't look as good as he has so far. But yeah, absolutely, Purdy is better. I think he's had more opportunity. Could Stidham be really good? He could.
Yeah.
It's basically like time and opportunity is the judge. So it's like, for right now with how much time Purdy has played, oh hell yeah, he's better. Like
And
for
yeah.
sure.
It's amazing how their two skill sets. I mean, there's two skill sets are very similar actually. Like both are very mobile. Both have I mean, I think Stidham is slightly bigger of an arm, but I Stidham right now is playing for, there's always like quarterbacks in the league that or teams in the league that don't really have a high level starting quarterback who just get like a journeyman 1 year. He's kind of playing for that. Like next year, if he can finish out the season strong, next year he's probably going to maybe get a starting job as like a guy who's going to just be a temporary starting job, maybe mentoring a rookie quarterback or whatever. So it's like next year, like he's playing for that type of job. And then if he does good from there, he's going to be a starting quarterback. So he is playing for all of that. My thing is I think these two quarterbacks very similar. Don't have a lot of game film on them. So the story is still untold. But I was impressed because you're a Raiders quarterback going into that game. There's all bets are against you. You're trying to prove everybody wrong. It's your first start. You're trying to prove to the coach that he made the right decision by starting you and not starting Derek Carr. And he did it. So it's an interesting thought to think about a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, these guys are young, and like I said, Stidham could wind up. Shoot, man. Hey, it's easy to. It feels like it's easy for people to say, "Oh, he's garbage. Oh, he's trash. Oh, whatever." You know what I'm saying? But you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure it kinda reminds me of Steph Curry a little bit. There was people that picked, who was it? Matt Flynn. There was there was 2
Yeah.
point guards picked before Steph Curry.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks were picked before Tom Brady? I'm pretty sure a gang of people said, "Oh, Tom Brady got a noodle arm. He's probably going to be a second or third stringer at best, yada yada." And so we never truly know. It's always opportunity and time are the judge. And until we see a little bit more, Stidham could wind up being phenomenal. Purdy, just because he's done what he's done in these 5 games doesn't mean he's going to be absolutely great. But can he be a franchise quarterback? Hey, he absolutely could. Could he, with what we've seen him do so far, could that be his absolute best? It could be. Maybe he's always that guy. But hey, we'll see. But with the question, Purdy, no doubt, right now is definitely better than
Yeah.
Stidham.
I would agree. I would agree. But I mean, you could make the argument. I mean, he has the talent, a lot more talent. So I don't know. You could make
Yeah,
that argument. We'll see though. But yeah, that's all the topics we have for today. Um, this has been a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking with you. You bring up a lot of questions. And you bring up a lot of conversations that are on your mind that are really interesting to ponder, like the one with Purdy. So I thank you. Bring a lot of juice to the show. So let them know what you're coming out with on your channel. And yeah, thanks for coming on tonight. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, man. I'm always in. Hey, no problem. Thank you, Camperman. Every time I see you ask me to do a show, I always get excited. I always take it as what's the word? Just a privilege or just kind of lightweight and honor. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you even reaching out to me. Feels like, it's kind of a normal occurrence every couple months or once a month or
Yeah.
something like that. So that's dope, man. I appreciate that. With my family and my schedule, it's a little tough to, you could see even on my own channel,
Yeah.
to organize my own schedule. But on my channel, man, I'm still trying to find my own lane. I'm still trying to find out what I truly like to do, what I truly want to do, and why do I truly want to do it. So I'm always going to be trying different things. Lately, I've been doing highlights and I've been doing highlight videos, trying to get better at my editing. Like everything I've done, I have zero help. So anything I do, my thumbnails, my editing, um, anything and everything, it's all original. It's all just, I'm just trying to find my lane and see what I like and see what I enjoy and just keep on trucking in that direction. So who knows what I got, what, God's got for me in the future, but I'm gonna try to listen to that and follow that. And so right now I'm doing highlights. Of course, on Monday nights we do straight out of the Bay, me, Jay in the Bay Area Baller 18, and Amin the Dream.
Shout out
And so,
Amin and all of those guys. All really cool.
yay! So we continue to do that every Monday night. Besides that, I go Tuesday mornings. I'm on a guy named Ryan G. Hensley show for a cool 15 minutes. Yeah,
Nice.
he's
Nice. Yeah, I
on
know.
Grant's show and whatnot. And then on Wednesday night, we're on Niner Sickness Podcast. Beto, we're on his channel doing Last Man Standing. We're gonna be doing it through the playoffs, NFL game predictions. It's me, Peter, who you seen in the chat,
Yeah.
Niner Fanatic podcast, and then it's also Forever Faithful podcast, Brandon. So it's us four gentlemen who link up on Wednesday. I believe that's at 7 p.m. Ryan Hensley, 8 in the morning, and then my show, 8:15. Typically, it's after Monday Night Football. I think we might switch the time up because there's going to be no more Monday Night Football, but on Straight Out of the Bay, typically we were rotating channels, but now we're going to be streaming from every channel. It'll be going off actually on 5 different channels: mine, Bay Area Ballers, Jay in the Bay, Me and the Dreams, and then we created a channel Straight Out of the Bay. So look out for that. You're not going to be able to miss it or have to search for us, because we were
Yeah.
rotating channels. So yeah, that's what I got going on. I know that was a little bit of long-winded,
Oh, no, you're good.
answer.
You're good.
Okay. And yeah, man. So hey, come check it out. I see Michael Felton in the or
Yeah,
Fenton
we can
in the
let's get to
house.
some of the comments. We have a few people in here.
Hey, and Faithful, if y'all got questions, Benjamin might have answers. I might have answers. So shoot,
Yeah,
man.
put
Shoot
him in
for it.
here. Put him in here. Tommy Huxley says, "That's cool, man. Ukulele is cool.
Ukulele. Hey, I
Appreciate you,
love it.
Keltz." Let's see. No Border Sports in here once again.
Yee.
Hello, Camper and Rich. That's Niner
There he
Sickness
is.
podcast. Great guy as well. Go subscribe to his channel. What's up, Faithful? Well, he says, "What's up, Faithful?" And then I have no idea what he's saying there. So enlighten us on that, whoever you are in Anime Legends. What's up, Camper and Keltz? That's David McNiner, or as I've previously known him as David McNew. So
What up, David?
yeah.
What up? What
Michael
up? What up,
Fenton.
Beto? What up, Beto? What up, Brian? What up, David? How y'all doing tonight? My bad to cut you off, Camperman.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. The amount of times I cut you off tonight, just saying.
Hey, we got that in common, man. We got it in common, It just
we get excited about the topic and we're like, yeah.
Hold on a minute, but
Yeah.
Nah, I feel it, man. I love it.
Keltz, yee.
I almost want to here. I'll give you a good one real quick. Yee.
Yo, wait. So did you find that? Where did you get that?
That's a wait. Oh, just doing yee.
Yeah, well, like on the echo.
I got a little interface. I need to get a better one. Because I got a little bit better of a mic, but then I still got the cheap Yeah, I try to.
Oh yeah, that is a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. But yeah, it's just a little cheap interface. It comes with built-in. Yeah, it comes with all kind of built-in. That was the Minions button right there, but it's got all kind of stuff on here, man.
Nice.
There it is.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool for sure. Does Hufanga need to do better in coverage?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I was going back and watching, and I think I had a video scheduled before I got sick. Quickly to recap that, I was going to do a show on Wednesday with this Bengals guy, and never happened because
he's a Bengals guy. No, I'm kidding.
Well, okay. Bill the Bengals guy, go look him up on Twitter. I don't think he has he does have a YouTube, but he doesn't really post on there. Real quick, hold on. Anyways, Bill the Bengals guy. I was going to do a show with him, and then I was puking my guts out. So had to cancel that. Was sick on Wednesday. And then so I was sick there. So what was I? Oh yeah, so I was going to post a video that day showing the coverage mistakes that Hufanga has made. And I think he just bites on the check down routes a lot of times. And maybe that's just the product of a guy who is in a system where there's a lot of checkdowns. And so he plays against the check down offense with Christian McCaffrey. So maybe he's just used to that in practice. But yeah, I don't know.
Teams are catching him sleeping, or teams are catching him guessing wrong.
Yeah.
The main one versus the Raiders was on 3rd and 2, and he guessed wrong. It was play action, 3rd and 2. Waller set it up, looking like he was going to block. All it takes is one step. It just takes one step. Hufanga took one step
Yeah.
forward, gone, touchdown. That's all it takes. When you're the last line of defense, D'Amico Ryan said it. He need to be disciplined with his eyes, but your eyes need to match your feet. Ultimately, it's taking the step. If you start depending on your eyes and guessing and your mind, you need to. I feel like he needs to be put in a little bit better position on 3rd downs to not even have to make a choice. Because I know some people will say, "Hey, well, this is what makes him great." Making those great plays, whether it's an interception, it's a tackle for loss. So you don't want to take that edge away from him, but let him gamble on first. But then that kind of defeats the purpose too, because if let's say he guesses wrong on
Right.
1st or 2nd, you could still get blown out the water. One thing I
Right.
do know is it's happened lightweight consistently throughout the year, but I think it's more of a deal now because now we're not seeing the interceptions. So
Right.
it was kind of a little bit more okay when he would have a hiccup and then make a good play happen. But now you're starting to see hiccups without the good plays. And it's like, this could, you know, I have a feeling he's going to
You
sharpen
think they
up.
bench him?
No, hell no. I have a feeling maybe they could just put him in better position. Maybe they could switch certain coverages up in
Yeah.
certain
True.
scenarios. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's going to sharpen up. D'Amico's going to put him in better position. And I have a feeling that he's going to come up huge. I just have a
Yeah.
feeling when someone like a Hufanga has some stuff like this happen, I have a feeling maybe not like versus Green Bay, but I just have a feeling he's going to come up huge in a crucial moment, and it's going to switch everybody's tone about Hufanga in these coming up playoffs. But
And
yeah,
you
to answer
go
your
ahead.
question, absolutely he's got to do better. And the same with I don't want to say Lenore too much because one thing about Lenore, he's in beautiful position. It feels like Lenore's been in beautiful position. When you're getting beat by Devontae Adams and Waller,
Yeah.
hey man, he could
Those are
be in the
really talented players anyways. Yeah.
booyah. Yeah, but go ahead, my man.
Well, I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say? I almost forgot it. Hold on.
My fault, bro.
Yeah, no,
That's
no,
all
you're
me.
good. You're good. You're good. I was gonna say, hold on. Oh man. So we were talking about Hufunga and we're talking about D'Amico. I'm trying
Putting
to
him
think.
in, putting him in a good position to succeed.
Yeah. It'll
Benching
come to
him.
me. It'll come to me. Oh yeah, benching him.
Maybe switching Ward, maybe switching the positions. Maybe
Yeah.
that could have been on your mind.
Well, I was trying to think. Well, I don't know. I don't know why I
It'll
forgot
come
that so
back
fast. I don't know why I forgot that so fast.
because I talked. It's because I talked for a heck of long. So it's all my fault.
You're good. You're good. Keep doing. I always love just listening to people, that are really, really knowledgeable and that can, because I think it's an art that you can speak for a long time without like stuttering. Because I can't do that, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, that's funny.
So. Peace, y'all. Great stream. Got to get back to work. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yee.
Hopefully your work goes smoothly. And
Stay up.
then
Stay safe.
J
Stay
Mart.
up.
Yeah, yeah. Still a little bit sick. I've been hit with everything this month.
My
J
daughters
Mart.
too, man.
Yeah. J Mart 949 Niners and Hufunga now know that teams will key on Hufunga's aggressiveness and play to that knowledge and cross teams up. And then he
Blitz.
says blitz.
Yeah, man, we got to make adjustments to the adjustments. You could see that. The Raiders had a great game plan. They just really did. And yeah, man, it's time to make adjustments to the adjustments. That's just whether that's putting them in better position to not guess on certain downs, or I don't know, have some form of a safety blanket. If he is in the positions where he's going to guess, you should have another line of defense for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I do have the thought that I was going to say. I was going to say at least these mistakes with Hufanga are coming now because last year those mistakes with Jimmy, with Tart, all came in the playoffs in the most crucial moments. They got exposed. So at least you maybe have a few weeks to kind of figure it out. I mean, that's just my opinion. So at least they're coming out now. Can't
Yes,
always be perfect.
yes,
So
sir. Hey, exactly, exactly. Everybody get. Hey, Deion Sanders got beat, but I mean, at the same time, we have seen it quite a few times with Hufanga specifically, I believe. So
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
hey,
But
if you're a Pro Bowler, man, you got to play Pro
you
Bowl football. You got to
it's
play
true.
Pro Bowl football, man.
That is true. I agree there. But yeah, this has been a great stream. We're gonna let you go though. I know you have a family, so and I do too. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. Excited. And by the way,
Absolutely.
before we leave, really cool background. You've had it for a while, but love the background there with all of your paraphernalia. I'm gonna have to get a better camera and get that set up. And then what's that on your I think it's my left, but it's probably your right.
Right here,
Right
right
there, right
here.
there. What is that? Those faces right there.
Oh, the faces. I thought you
Yeah,
was gonna say this right here because I actually carved that out, man. It's
that's
wood.
really
It's
cool. I
wood,
saw
but
that on Twitter. I saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. But the faces are actually my grandfather's,
Okay.
or my wife's grandfather, and he was like best friends with this dude named Dave Baronio, which was like a sports journalist in the Bay Area for like decades. Like he covered like 9 Olympics. He covered the 49ers for like during their whole dynasty. Like he knew the players' wives and their families by name and traveled with Bill Walsh. And so my wife's grandfather, George, he was best friends with Dave Baronio. Dave Baronio also drew both of these pictures and would like kind of duplicate them. So these are hand drawn pictures by Dave Baronio. And yeah, hey, you could Google him, check him out. He was an amazing dude. And I think it's like one of 30, like each of them. So
Really?
there's like,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like, and it's like, sentimental, passed down through a generation by someone. It's just hella cool, man. I'm just hella happy they got passed down to me. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of, hopefully I could keep it passed down. So yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's really cool. I like that.
It
I
is.
like that.
I love that kind of stuff. Real talk, man. I love
Yeah.
it, but especially when it got some meaning. And the other stuff, anything else you see is my wife, man. She hooks me up with gifts, even if it's the microphone, man. I started doing this with the cell phone, and I probably would have kept using the cell phone, but people who love me and got faith in me are like, nah, hey, I want you to represent it. Hey, I'm gonna hook you up with the little camera. Hook you. I want you to.
Yeah.
Hey, if this is really what you're gonna do, represent yourself. I'm like, okay, hey, let me get a little bit more serious about this. So, hey, I
Yeah.
appreciate you asking. Shoot, I started once upon a time, I was doing it in a closet, doing it in a garage. Now I'm doing it in a spare bedroom. I'm blessed to be able to continue to level up, man. So,
Yeah.
yep.
For sure. I mean, it's my pleasure. Love doing content with 49ers content creators.
Yeah.
If Purdy wins that, well, real quick, Steve Supremo says yee, and I saw in your little profile, I was gonna do a stream on Wednesday about this guy, or one of the few of the topics were about him. Um, that's doing really well. He's up, he's talking, so
Yeah, heck yeah, man. As soon as I heard he got the tube, or as soon as I heard he woke up, I was just like, yes.
and
Like
I
I
mean
was
it's really good that he didn't because if he was really dead for that long, I mean, a lot of times your neurological, your brain isn't as intact, or I mean, you can become a vegetable. So it's a miracle that he didn't
yeah,
like.
man.
So yeah.
And I mean the first thing, just the spirit, just how intact he was. Did we win? You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Or he didn't say, he wrote it
Yeah.
down, but just, you know, I almost don't want to try to make it about me, but I've witnessed, my daughter have breathing tubes and comas and all
Mhm.
those things. So I've seen it, dialysis and transplants, and so I've seen. And soon as I knew he woke up, that was an achievement, and praise God. And then the tube came out, praise God again. It's just it puts a smile on my
Yes.
face. It makes me want to clap. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
so just juiced up through. Sometimes a masterpiece could be being made even during a tragedy, and to see a circle of an NFL team, to see hundreds of people get on the middle of a logo and pray together, personally for me, is beautiful. To see a whole entire crowd in the Bengals when it happened to them, to see them all praying together, beautiful. I mean, sometimes through tragedy you can see unity, and it sucks that
Mhm.
sometimes that's the way things are, but hey, man, continuous prayers to Hamlin
Yeah.
and continuous prayers after Hamlin, man, when he's fully recovered, man. Sometimes we like to give flowers when something horrible happens. Sometimes we like to start praying only when something horrible happens. Uh, to each their own. But for me, I like to be grateful and thankful every single freaking day. Um, and so, yeah, man, that's just the way I feel. But prayers to Hamlin.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be keeping in our hearts and prayers. Yep. If Purdy wins everything, would you want him or Lance next season? There's been so much talk about this. I mean, I don't know. We could go another 2 hours about this topic, man.
I want to see the best competition ever
Yeah.
between Trey and Purdy, and whoever the best man is, I want to see that man on the field.
And none of that locker room stuff with Jimmy. I really hope that does not happen again.
Oh man, yeah, man. There's a positivity that surrounds Trey Lance and Brock Purdy from my lenses, maybe not everybody else's, but the 49ers are in great shape to have two young guys like Brock Purdy, like Trey Lance. Just the mentalities of both of those guys. How could you not like Trey Lance or Brock Purdy? They both seem like tremendous people. Um, yeah, man. So we're in good hands. Like, I,
Both
I
very hard workers, and like
yeah,
I know Iowa State is like a bigger school, but it is like not a powerhouse school.
my bad.
S-
I just see the comment.
Uh,
I feel like a little kid sometimes when I see one word. Tommy Huxley got me cracking up, but
yeah, I know.
I feel like a straight kid sometimes. I barely even seen the word and freaking almost had a freaking breakdown. Tommy Huxley, good old Tommy. Yeah, man. Hey,
Yeah,
I think that's a perfect place to end it right there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
almost
yeah.
want to say it, but there might be some kids in the. I might have to explain to some younger people out there what that means, but
I know what
I
you're
won't even
talking
go there.
about.
I see you, Tommy. Uh, appreciate all y'all. Appreciate you, Ben. We will do
Yeah,
it again.
yeah, we will for sure. Well, everyone, it's been a great night. Thank you for all your comments. I'm gonna go eat something because I am starving. See you, everyone. Have a good
Peace.
night.